it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and I am back with another layout, and this one is for Wild Whisper Designs, and I am also throwing in a few things from my August Kit. And so I am playing with the July collection from Wild Whisper, which is called Lake Life. And so it came with a lot of different pieces. There was a paper pack, pocket page cards, a stamp set, some flair, a set of ephemera, excuse me, all kinds of different pieces to play with. And so what I am starting out with is I wanted to make kind of a neutral background. So there's a lot of bright blue in my photo, and if you've ever played with outdoors or lake photos, it's very difficult to match up the blues in the photo with the blues in product lines. So rather than fight with my blues and try and find something that's perfect, I'm going to go ahead and use a really neutral background. And so I apologize for the quality of the video here. For some reason it's kind of laggy a little bit, but I am creating a color blocked background. So I've taken a sheet of black textured cardstock, and then I've added a triangle over half of it with this kind of craft colored cardstock. And then on top of that, I'm going to go ahead and add in a triangle of gray. And so I'm pulling that inspiration from the pattern paper that I know that I want to use. So this particular pattern paper had kind of the khaki background with the blacks and the grays. And so that inspired where I'm starting with my color blocking. And I want that gray triangle to be at the top. And then my photo is going to sit kind of where those three colored areas meet. And then I'm going to grab this particular paper from the collection, and I'm going to use that to fussy cut a ton of these little circle badges. And my goal here is that I want to fill in that khaki colored section. So I'm basically recreating this pattern paper, but I am doing it with a bunch of dimension. So I'm going to have 4 different levels of dimension that are going to go in that section. So I'm going to grab this little tiny stamp that came in the stamp set, and this is perfect because the Rediscover Your Stash focus for August is stamping. So I'm glad that I'm getting some stamping onto the layout as well. And I'm just adding a few of those little leaves in throughout where all of my little circle badges are going to go. And this mimics what happened in the pattern paper. And so that's giving me one kind of level of dimension over there. It's just going to be my flat stamping. And so once I have that kind of where I want it to be, I realize that I need one more little badge. So I'm going to go ahead and add one more little piece, and I just fussy cut that from the paper. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some additional dimension. So you can see here I'm pulling out some dimensional adhesive, and it's at different heights. So I have a really thin dimensional adhesive, and then I have a thicker one. And I'm going to use these together with all of my little badges I cut out to create 3 different levels of dimension with only my fussy cut pieces. So a few of them are going to get glued directly onto the background paper, so they're going to be a flat layer. And then some of them are going to get the extra cushy dimensional adhesive. And then some of them are going to get the thin dimensional adhesive. So that when I'm done with that section, I really have 4 different levels going on. So I have my stamping directly in the background. I have some of the circles glued directly to the background. And then I have some on the half height dimensional adhesive and then some on full height dimensional adhesive. So then I went to my ephemera pack and grabbed all these little arrows, and I'm going to use them to kind of create the dividing line between my black section and my khaki and gray. And so I only had 4 little pieces of arrows. And so I cut one arrow in half so that I could use half of it on the top part of the layout and half of it on the bottom. And because it's tucked under my photo, it works perfectly. I didn't need the entire piece. So I kind of could stretch my supplies there a little bit, which is great. And then I went ahead and grabbed 2 pieces from the ephemera pack. So those 2 bigger circles that are going to overlap my photo are actually from the ephemera that goes with this Lake Life collection. And I love, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I can't even tell you guys how excited I am that Wild Whisper finally is doing ephemera packs to match their collections. So this just, it makes my entire day. The quality of their products is amazing. And so having the ephemera to match the paper collections is just the greatest thing. So I'm going to go ahead and add these 2 to the higher thickness of dimensional adhesive, and I'm going to put them in the top left and bottom right of my photo. And so this is just a 4x6 photo. It's of my son, and he's sitting on kind of like this wooden fence next to a lake. And so this was taken when we were out on a camping trip and we were just kind of exploring the lake, doing those kinds of things. And so I'm looking for other little ephemera, trying to decide if I want to include any other die cuts. But I know that I also want to do some journaling on this page. So while I am kind of playing around with the embellishments, I'm thinking about how I'm going to get my journaling included. And so I grab a little piece of notebook paper, and this is just out of like a cheap Target notebook. But it gives me kind of that, not exactly white, more like a cream colored paper. And it is going to give me that really great notebook edge. And so I have that I have just kind of trailed off the edge of my photo over on the right hand side. And I like that because it's balancing the weight. So before I put that on there, this layout was very heavy over on the left hand side and very empty over on the right hand side. And it is totally okay to have that empty blank space, but in this case, it felt like the weight was a little bit off to me. And I still needed that spot for journaling. So that's why I decided to include that paper. I did put a little stamp from the Lake Life collection at the top of the notebook paper so that it kind of flows and goes along with the icons that are over on the left. And then I added my journaling, just talking about how we love being outside and we love adventures from like slow paced to fast paced. It doesn't matter. We like being together and exploring. And so then I've included some puffy stickers down at the bottom with the word explore. So it is part of the journaling, but it also kind of lets that word stand out, especially against that cream paper on the black background. It really pops off the page. So it makes it so that your eye is kind of drawn over to read the journaling too, which I think is important. And that's basically going to do it for this layout. So I am loving working with this Lake Life collection. This was the July release from Wild Whisper Designs. I will leave a link down below so you can check it out too, because if you have camping and outdoors memories from this summer that you want to document, this is a perfect collection for it. And I will be back to see you soon. Bye!